Attention passionate Cleveland, BROWNS. Latest news, something big is happening in the AFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Cleveland Browns' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Cleveland Browns fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Cleveland BROWNS. Let's get to the news now, folks. If you've been paying attention to the NFL news cycle lately, you know that the Cleveland Browns are entering the 2025 season with a lot of questions, a lot of uncertainties, but at the same time, a lot of potential. It's a season that could really define the direction this franchise is heading, especially after a few years of ups and downs, some tough seasons, and a lot of rebuilding efforts. But what's really interesting is how the team is approaching this season, particularly on the defensive side of the ball, and what moves they might be considering to give themselves a shot at competing at the highest level again. When you look at the Browns roster, especially on defense, one name immediately jumps out as a bright spot: Myles Garrett. Garrett, as many of you know, is not just a star, he's arguably one of the best defensive ends in the entire league. His combination of size, speed, technique, and relentless pass-rushing ability makes him a nightmare for offensive linemen and quarterbacks alike. Over the past few seasons, Garrett has consistently been among the league leaders in sacks, tackles for loss, and quarterback pressures. His presence alone is a game-changer, and for Browns fans, it's a huge comfort to know that they have such a dominant force at the edge. However, as impressive as Garrett is, the rest of the defensive end position leaves a lot to be desired. The team is somewhat lacking in depth and quality behind him, and that's a concern heading into a season where every game feels like a battle in the AFC North, one of the most physically demanding divisions in the league. The Browns did draft Mason Graham, a promising defensive tackle selected 5th overall in this year's draft, and he's expected to bolster the interior line alongside veteran Malik Collins. But the edge rusher position, especially opposite Garrett, remains a big question mark. Who will step up and provide consistent pressure from that side? That's what everyone in Cleveland is wondering right now. The team's current depth chart shows Isaiah McGuire, a 4th-round pick from 2023, as the leading candidate to start at that position. But let's be honest, through his first 2 seasons, McGuire hasn't exactly lit the league on fire. He's shown flashes, but he's yet to establish himself as a reliable, game-changing presence. Browns fans are hoping that with more experience, he might develop into a solid player. But as of now, the front office and coaching staff are probably thinking about ways to accelerate that process, or maybe even consider bringing in some veteran help to fill that gap immediately. And here's where the story gets really interesting. There's been talk among NFL insiders, analysts, and Browns fans alike about a potential reunion with Za'Darius Smith, a player who could be the perfect fit to give the Browns a real boost on the pass rush. Smith, for those who might not follow him closely, is a 3-time Pro Bowler and a player with a proven track record of getting after the quarterback. Last season alone, he managed to rack up 9 sacks between his stints with the Browns and the Detroit Lions. That's impressive for a guy who's now entering his age 33 season, and it shows that he still has plenty of gas left in the tank. What makes Smith particularly appealing for Cleveland is his familiarity with the team's defensive scheme and coaching staff. He played under defensive coordinator Jim Schwartz in 2024, and Schwartz's aggressive, up-front style of defense is well suited to Smith's skill set. Bringing him back could be a quick fix to the Browns' pass-rushing woes, giving Garrett a reliable partner on the other side and creating more opportunities for sacks, pressures, and game-changing plays. Plus, Smith's experience, leadership, and knack for being in the right place at the right time could make all the difference in close games, especially in a division where every possession counts. Now, let's pause here for just a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Cleveland Browns news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let's continue with the big reveal. You see, the Browns are at a crossroads. they have one of the most talented defensive players in Garrett, a promising rookie in Graham, and a handful of other solid but unproven talents. But to truly contend in 2025, they need more than just potential, they need production. That's why bringing Za'Darius Smith back into the fold makes so much sense for them. It's a low-risk, potentially high-reward move that could solidify their pass rush and make their defense a nightmare for opposing offenses. However, it's not just about the immediate impact. The Browns also have a broader strategy in mind. They're trying to build a balanced, competitive team that can sustain success over multiple seasons. Part of that involves evaluating young players like McGuire and seeing if they can develop into reliable starters. If the front office chooses to go that route, they might pass on a veteran like Smith and focus on nurturing their young talent. But if they want to maximize their chances of competing now, especially with teams like the Cincinnati Bengals, Pittsburgh Steelers, and Baltimore Ravens, all vying for supremacy in the division, then signing someone like Za'Darius Smith makes perfect sense. There's also the aspect of team chemistry and familiarity. Smith already knows the defensive system, and he's worked with Schwartz before, which means there's no steep learning curve. Plus, bringing back a veteran who has been a proven producer in the league can help mentor the younger players, instilling a winning mentality and work ethic. That's something the Browns have been looking to strengthen in recent years, building a culture of accountability, toughness, and relentless pursuit of excellence. Of course, there are questions about salary cap implications and roster priorities. The Browns need to be smart about how they allocate their resources, especially since they still have some key free agents and young players to sign. But given the importance of pass rush in today's NFL, I believe a lot of fans and analysts see the value in making a move for a player like Za'Darius Smith. It could be the missing piece that elevates their defense from decent to elite. Now, looking at the bigger picture, Cleveland's defense has always been a critical part of their identity. When they're disciplined, aggressive, and relentless, they can hang with anyone. But consistency has been an issue in recent seasons, and part of that is the lack of a consistent pass rush threat from the other end. If Smith returns, it could unlock a new level of pressure, forcing turnovers, and creating more opportunities for the offense to score. Remember, the Browns have invested heavily in their offense as well, with Deshaun Watson leading the charge and a solid running game to complement their passing attack. But football is a game of trenches, and the team that wins the battle up front usually wins the game. So, bolstering that pass rush could be the key to turning close games into convincing wins. Plus, let's not forget about the division rivals. The AFC North is known for its physicality and tough defenses. The Steelers, Ravens, and Bengals all have their strengths, and the Browns need to match or surpass that intensity. A revamped pass rush, led by Garrett and possibly Smith, could give Cleveland an edge over those teams, especially in critical moments like third-and-long situations or late-game drives. That mental and physical edge could be what propels the Browns into playoff contention and beyond. So what's next? Well, the Browns' front office has a lot to weigh. They have to consider the chemistry, the cap space, the long-term plan, and what they truly believe their team is capable of in 2025. Will they gamble on experience and familiarity with a veteran like Smith? Or will they trust their young players to step up and develop into the stars of tomorrow? Either way, it's going to be fascinating to watch how this story unfolds in the coming weeks and months. Training camp is just around the corner, and decisions will be made that could shape the future of this franchise. And now, Cleveland Browns fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Do you think bringing Za'Darius Smith back is the right move? Or do you believe the team should focus on developing their young talent and building for the future? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Cleveland Browns. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Cleveland Browns news. We're all in this together, and I can't wait to see what this season has in store for us all. Thanks for watching, and as always, go Browns!